Today we're going to talk about setting up, enabling, and configuring your online planner in Gradebook. There are 3 simple steps in setting up your Gradebook online planner. The next step is step 1. When you log on to X2 every day, this is the view that you see, your staff view. To enable the Gradebook features, you need to go to the Set Preferences, select the Set Preferences box, go to your Gradebook tab, and what you want to do is check off Enable Gradebook Features. Another nice feature in Gradebook is to anchor the averages so that the average is to the far left of your Gradebook, right next to the student's name. And then you're going to want to say OK, which will save those features, the Gradebook features. That's step 1 of the 3-step process to set up your Gradebook planner in X2. The next step is that you want to go to the Gradebook tab. Here you see that this teacher has 3 classes. 2 are similar and 1 is not. The 2 similar classes can be linked together, and this is helpful because categories and assignments can be created once by linking the classes together. So I'm going to go into the details of the first class, and I'm going to go to the button on the right that says Select. I'm going to choose the second class and say OK, and this now links the both classes for assignments and categories. Remember to save your changes. So part of step 2 is also to create categories. Seeing as I'm in my first class, American Literature, I'm going to create categories for that class. The common function in X2 is Options Add. And that's what we're going to do. My first category is going to be homework. My grade scale is going to be high school grade scale. And I'm going to want to save this category. I don't need to close this out. I can just go back to Options, click Add, start with my next category, which is quizzes. Again, it's the high school grade scale, and I'm going to save. My last category that I'm going to have for this class is tests. Now I have my 3 categories set up for my first American Literature class. If I go to my second American Literature class, which I can navigate to using my arrow button to the far right, you'll see that I already have them because I have linked the classes together. If I go to my final class, I have no categories, but maybe I want to import 2 of those categories from my American Literature. X2 provides you, again through Options, to select Import Categories. I select from the pick list on the magnifying glass my American Literature class. I want to select from that just homework and test. I'm not going to use quizzes for my creative writing. And then I'm going to import those. So the final part of step 2 is to make sure that our categories are weighted correctly based on the school handbook for Tewksbury Memorial High School. However, given that that's not where I am, I had set my weights for my homework and my tests are equally weighted. However, that's probably not true. So to set the weights, when you click onto the blue link of the H of that code, let's make the homework worth 20 points. And let's make for the tests to be worth 80 points out of a possible 100. It will now reflect that percentage for the weighting for our 2 categories in creative writing. Now if we go back to my American literature, because they were all weighted the same, they carry the same percentage. Let's change those as well. Again, you can always navigate to the next record by selecting the black arrow. And always be sure to save. Now the categories in both of my American literatures should be changed because they're linked. So step 2 is now done in our gradebook setup. Our final process is to assign assignments to each of our classes. I can navigate to my assignments in 2 ways. I can select my first course and click on the Scores tab. This seems to be the most convenient process to set assignments for your classes. You can see the students, you can see the class that you're in. If you change your grade column to all, if you assign a quiz, a test, homework, you'll see them all across the board. So you just click the Add button and you want to select a code. When you choose the magnifying glass for your pick list, maybe our first assignment will be homework. This code is just a reference code for you to recall. If you want to sequentially number them, you can do that. My homework will be to read chapter 1. I want to have this as numeric, and I want the maximum points for this homework assignment to be 15. I save that, and I now have the columns ready for my homework assignment. I can add also a quiz. That can be sequentially numbered, and we're going to have a vocabulary test, numeric, and we'll give that 50 points. My final assignment will be a test, and that test will be the 3rd assignment that I've created for this course, and it will be a chapter review, and that's worth 100. Now I had saved all of these as assigned on the 28th, and they were due the 28th. These are all things that you can change at any time. If you want to mass produce all of your assignments, go back and change them to reflect when you actually assign them and when you want them to be due. Sometimes it's easier just to get them onto your grid so that you can have them visible. If you look, to my next course, I have those same assignments assigned to my American Literature 2 class. Now I can go to my creative writing and do the same thing. Now remember, at my creative writing class, I only have 2 categories. You can set your numeric and your maximum points for the assignment. So that's the idea of how you create assignments to your courses. We're ready to start entering grades, and your setup for your online gradebook planner is done. This is the end of step 3. You're ready to start grading.